So Stefan, tell us a little bit about the Pebble and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah, so we have a Pebble Flow here. This is our first product. It's the flagship product. It's a fully electric travel trailer. We have a 45 kilowatt hour LFP battery in there. We have 1.1 kilowatt of solar on the roof. We have 2 motors, so this vehicle can move by itself, and when it's towed, it's helping you, it assists.
And that's what really makes it unique in terms of being an electric vehicle, the fact that you have electric drivetrain. And what was the motivation for doing that?
Yeah, so there were a few things. Really the mission of our company is to take away all the hassles that comes with camping in general and travel trailers in particular, so that you get the freedom to live, work everywhere, anywhere you want. And one of the big issues is parking, right? So what you do with trailers is you need to back it up, and that's really a difficult problem in itself. It's just physics. It's something that you need to build up skills for. And there are all kinds of systems already on the market today that are trying to make it easier, but it's still a difficult problem. So then what we were thinking, why don't we just change the paradigm? And that's what we did. By putting 2 motors in here, they changed the problem into a remote control problem, which is very easy and it's also fun. So we launched a feature called remote control, actually, and you are able to maneuver the vehicle in very, very tight spots. So you don't have this problem anymore of backing up the vehicle. You just unhitch and then you remote control into whatever spot you want. So another difficult problem is hitching up a trailer. And what this means is typically you have two people, one who is spotting here, and then the second person is backing up the vehicle. Well, what we have done is we automated the entire process. We have a very powerful NVIDIA unit in here. This is an NVIDIA Orin, including GPUs on board. We have cameras on the vehicle, which allowed us to build essentially a robotic stack. Now, what this does is that it's looking at your tow vehicle, in particular the hitch ball, gets close, aligns perfectly with the hitch balls, and then lowers the coupler and connects to your tow vehicle. And everything is done by the touch of a button.
That's amazing. And so is there actually a camera down here on the on the actual ball or the hitch, or is that elsewhere?
So there are several cameras on the vehicle, and there are fused information that are used. Obviously, there are other sensors as well that we need to integrate, and that allows us with these motors. And I want to emphasize how important these motors actually are. And another very revolutionary thing that the Pebble Flow comes with is that these motors are in-wheel motors.
Oh, you're using in-wheel motors, really?
In-wheel electric motors. Why is this good? It's obviously cool, but why is this good? It's because you have an extremely nice control over the movement, right? There's no gearbox on the axle, you don't have the play. So doing things like aligning with a hitch ball, that precision that you need, you really need to be able to precisely control those wheels. And that's what the in-wheel motors are bringing us. Together with the robotic stacks, allow us for things like magic edge.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I would imagine too that having the hub motors gives you a little bit more freedom in terms of your platform for building what you're building here, huh?
So essentially there were a few things that we're talking about. And as you may know, in the automotive industry, we were talking about hub motors for a long time. But it was always the question was unsprung mass, right? So when you are steering, you feel that those heavy motors in the steering wheel. We don't have that issue here, right? Because it's really just one axle. It has nothing to do with your steering wheel. So on one hand, we really wanted the precision, we wanted the efficiency that comes from in-wheel motors. But then was another thing, which was, well, if you actually don't have anything on your axle, you do not have a motor on an e-axle, what you can do now is that you can put the battery right there. It's flat. So really when it comes to packaging, this again helped us a lot, optimizing the shape and the structure of the vehicle.
Yeah, it's got to help with things like center of gravity and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
And so it's got to be a huge challenge when you've got these two objects, you've got one kind of pulling and this other one has to stay at the same speed. How in the heck do you balance that?
Yeah, it's really a challenge. It was a lot of work that went into it. There are lots of sensors that we are using to understand what the tow vehicle is doing. And I'm really, really happy with the results that we see. And when people are towing this for the first time, it's really unlike anything that you have experienced before.
And you've designed it fundamentally for kind of where we're going with kind of electric pickups and that sort of thing. But it is universal, right? You could use it with any kind of vehicle that could pull it, is that right?
Yeah, and that's the very interesting thing, that you are absolutely right. There's a large impact when you are towing with a electric vehicle, right? So what happens today, if you're towing with an electric vehicle, you are essentially down to a 100-mile range. No matter which tow vehicle you have, more or less that's where you are. With this thing, you will get up to 250 miles. Now, towing with an electric vehicle is not broken anymore, right? But exactly the point that you're bringing up, what about the ICE engines? What about the ICE vehicles? So one thing that obviously you will get is impact on your fuel consumption, right? You will burn less gas. It's just right there. But there is another part, and that is about the driving dynamics of your vehicle. Your engine, it's not struggling that much anymore. Otherwise, this is a 6,800 pounds vehicle. You will feel it, right? But with having an assistance torque that comes from EasyTow, it's really, really a different experience. And it just puts your mind a bit more at ease. It doesn't disappear. It's not like you don't have a trailer there anymore. You still feel that something is there, but it's a whole different dynamics. And this is one of those things that it's very difficult to put in words, but once you experience it, you never want to go back.
I would imagine too, just the experience of pulling a trailer that has cameras built everywhere, it must be something else too. Does that translate to the cab of the pickup truck you're pulling it with?
One thing that I really want to point out, the Pebble Flow, it's really a software-defined vehicle. What this means, it means many things, but in this context, what's important is that we are deploying new features over the air. So similarly as the more modern vehicles, they are getting updates, software updates. The same thing happens for the Pebble Flow. So things like improving efficiency, or things like new features, maybe looking at different camera features. All this will be coming later, and it's available as over-the-air update.
And from a build perspective, you've gone about that a little bit different. It's not just kind of aluminum and rivets. It looks like you have a different kind of body than a typical trailer.
Yeah, so this is, actually it is aluminum. The body here, or the outer panels, is all composite. What we have done during the design from the beginning is we wanted to have, and we can go inside and see, a very open space. So what you see here, this is actually glass. So you have a 270 degrees view inside. It's all panoramic view. And this obviously opens up a few questions around privacy, right? Yeah. And what we did then is, again, we brought in technology. So all the glass that you see here is actually smart glass. Okay. So with the push of a button, it just turns opaque.
Nice. And so that also eliminates the need for window coverings and that kind of, all those little parts that could fall down. Right?
That's right. And it's just, really when you see this in a campsite, it's just really something else. It's just like a ray of light.
Yeah. And so speaking of light, is this something that you can use to back up your house power too, or you can use it as a...
As I mentioned earlier, we have two powerful in-wheel motors here. Now for that, you need a sizable battery. We have a 45 kilowatt hour LFP battery. It's essentially an EV battery. But if you have that, you need to have means to charge it. So we are able to charge with level 1, level 2, and DC fast charge, so level 3 charging. In the same way as, and this is your charge port. Mm-hmm. But if you look here, you have an IMA 1450.
Okay.
So what this does is that you can connect external loads. We can do up to 12 kilowatts on this outlet here, which means if you want to charge your EV, or if you park it next to your home and the power goes out, this can be your power bank.
Okay. Excellent. That's pretty cool. What's this adapter here? Is that your water?
Exactly. So this is the water inlet.
Okay. And then what about the other half of the water, the disposal part?
So this is where we have sewage. We have a macerator pump in here.
Okay.
And we have a macerated toilet. All these help us to very efficiently and easily get rid of the waste.
Okay.
So yet again, we are following the North Star of the company. What is that? We want to make sure that we take away the hassles that you have with travel trailers, with RVs today. And arguably one of the biggest hassles is get rid of the wastewater.
Right.
So that's something that we worked on a lot.
Okay. So should we go inside and see what and there I noticed there's one of the cameras, another one of the cameras. So now we're inside. And that's actually a really cool feature you just showed there, the ability to just open the window and provide things to people outside. That's really neat.
When we were designing the vehicle, we want to make sure that you are not cut off from the outside, right? That's why we have all these large windows. But also, this is really the cooking area. We want to make sure you are connected with your family and friends outside. That's why we open this window up, so you can really be close to them while maybe being inside and preparing the food. As I mentioned earlier, this is a fully electric travel trailer. There is no more propane, so this one here is an induction cooktop. It's actually removable. You can take it outside and cook with there outside as well.
And what about the tops? What materials that?
This is a composite.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very important. When you think about what we have packaged in here, a 45 kilowatt hour battery, 2 big motors. You see the axle here is not your typical travel trailer axle. Mm-hmm. It's a much more heavy duty, and even the wheels, you look at these wheels, these are not your typical travel trailer wheels. So we need to be very, very cautious, very careful with the weight. So we need to look at light and composite materials, okay, because weight essentially will impact your range.
Yeah,
right?
Of course, that makes sense.
So if we turn around, this is here the dinette area, and this is where you have this very, very nice nook with open windows. You even have the skylight here. It's very, very open. It's really, really nice to sit here. Honestly, my favorite place in the RV is here.
Nice.
Then this will turn over to a bed as well. We have just a handle, and then the table goes down, and then you put the cushions, and you are done. So one very interesting thing about this is initially this was all electric, and as you see, we have changed it to manual. Mm-hmm. And this is also another very important philosophy that we have in the company. Many people say, oh, we are doing all this cool stuff. Yes, we do. It turns out to be cool, but we are here to solve problems. And we had that electric table going up and down, but then we realized, as cool as it is, it just takes too much time. It doesn't really solve any problem. We tried this one, which is manual. It's so much easier, so much faster, so much more convenient, so we just switched it. Yeah. All right, so let's go to this side. Here you see from top to bottom you have storage. It's a lot of storage all the way down, and it's pretty deep. Very accessible. You have more storage under the dinette area as well. That's right. You have a large fridge here. This is residential grade fridge. You have a 14.
It's all electric, right?
It's all electric. Everything is electric.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And this is actually 110 volts.
Oh, nice.
You'll see we have a nice 4-in-1. So this is microwave, fryer.
Nice. So there's no 12 volts DC in here.
No, there is. So you have 12 volts for your USBs because you want to charge your devices.
Oh, I thought that was 5 volts.
Yeah. Well, I think those are 12, but I'm not sure. Yeah. So You have more storage here.
Okay.
Then if you look at the bathroom, and this is also another thing that we worked a lot on. We want to open up the space for you, and you are not spending all that much time in the bathroom, so we try to put glass in here. Now, this really makes the space feel bigger.
Yeah.
But then obviously there are some privacy questions here. So what we did, again, we brought in technology here, and we have smart window, a smart glass, which just turns turns opaque, right?
Very cool. And that's using the opaque smart glass there.
Yeah.
That's switchable.
So, and this is the office area. This is really a really nice space. You can have 2 people here working. You can use this even as a projection space. We have a projector here. And then I think the very nice part of this is during the night, you don't need this space and you want to have the bed. So this is essentially a Murphy bed. You just pull this down and then it transforms into a queen size bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So easy.
Yeah, it is. And you've got heat pumps, right, to keep it cool and keep it warm?
So we had an efficient, we need to make sure that we have an efficient way to heat and cool the cabin. On the other hand, we have a battery in here, we have the motors that also need to have some cooling. So what we did, we have a system, a thermal management system, which is actually integrated. And we can exchange heat between some of these components. And yes, indeed, this is a heat pump in there, which makes this, number one, super efficient, and 2, it's much more silent than any HVAC that you have. You don't have anything in the roof. The HVAC actually is in front under the black aero box.
Okay.
Speaking of the aero box, we missed talking about it, but it's also a very, very important piece of technology. So what happens is, and maybe we can just go into the front and I can show you. So what's happening here, so you are towing the tow vehicle, right? And then what happens is that the air is coming over and then essentially would hit the front, right? So what happens here is that this box will move up. So it will come all the way here.
Oh.
And this helps a lot with aerodynamics. And that's what you want to do to reduce the drag, because it will impact your fuel consumption.
Yeah, and so there's, like you said, you actually have stuff here.
And under it is essentially the heat pump for the HVAC.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And then you'll, in the production model, then this will...
No, this is fully functional. So when the vehicle is moving, this thing will just go up here.
Oh, I see. This actually...
It's going up and down. It's actuated.
Oh, I see. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And so, speaking of, since this is a production version, when will these be in serial production? And
Yeah, so we start production early this year, so in a couple of months, and then we will launch our Founders editions, and that costs $175,000. It includes all the options. It includes the solar. It includes the motors. It includes all future software updates and future features, and they will be arriving to our customers before end of the spring.
If you go into a regular campground that just has traditional 240 volts, can you plug into that too?
Absolutely. So you saw one of the input ports. It's essentially just the other side of it that needs to fit the 50 amp outlet from the campsite. One of the other pain points is when you get to the campsite, you really want to set up your vehicle, and then what typically happens is that you are coming out, lowering the stabilizers, the legs, and maybe you're doing with the impact tool or manually, and that takes time. And then even worse, what you need to do is you need to level it, right? Yeah. And at least for me, more often than not, after 15 minutes, I just give up. It is what it is. So we thought a lot about this, and then what we have done is we automated that entire process, and we call this InstaCamp. So from our app, you just push a button, and what happens is you have leveling in pitch. So there you have your jack that will help, and then also the stabilizers, the legs. So there are 4 legs. Okay. And then we also level in roll. For that, we have in the back 2 hydraulic legs. This will help with your roll. What does this mean? Well, it means that you have 4 stabilizers, 2 hydraulic legs, that's 6 points of contact, plus the wheels, that's 8, plus the front jack, that's 9. When you are walking in the Pebble Flow, when Instacamp is deployed, it's super stable. It doesn't move.
Well, and the other thing is just convenient is that remote control capability to park it for you or to, I guess, hitch up, right?
Exactly right. It's very, very easy. All the anxiety that I think it's pretty normal that everyone has when you get to the campsite, no, I need to back it in, is just not there. It's actually fun. It's really, really fun, and it's really quick. Just like Instacamp, where this entire process, including deploying your stairs at the end, like as a welcome to your new home, it takes a minute.
So where's the manufacturing?
So we are headquarters in Fremont, in the Bay Area, and we are doing our full assembly there for all of our sub-assemblies as all our components. That's where the vehicle is brought up. And this is where our customers at the beginning will pick up their vehicles.
What's your background?
My background is all mixed. It started automotive from Volvo cars and then Tesla. I was with Autopilot at the beginning, and then I spent several years at Apple.
Yeah, so this is perfect for a perfect kind of background for this kind of big project.
Yes, it is, and we are really, really excited. We have a great team, super talented, hardworking, very similar backgrounds when it comes to automotives and tech, and this is what came out.
Do you foresee maybe licensing some of the technology to others?
What we are focusing on right now is to deliver on our promise to our customers. We really want to have the Pebble Flow in the hands of our reservation holders, and I think they will have a great time.
That's amazing. And just tell me a little bit about the motivation. How did this come about? What was the inspiration to do this project?
It was really about taking away the hassles.
Did you do a lot of camping yourself?
So, yes, I have a traditional camper. We were going out with my wife and the kids, and it was pretty obvious that given where technology is today, we should be able to do this much better. And that's what we try to implement here in the Pebble Flow.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your explanation of this. Thank you.
You're so welcome.